We went to a very well-known hospital in Kenya and saw a very big doctor with many certificates on the wall, many awards. We were expecting help. He didn't check anything. He didn't ask more questions. He said, by the time you're 19, you should be fine. Also, my daughter has painful periods, but when she's 19, she'll be fine. He said, you know, adolescents, they can refuse to go to the toilet. And I was like, oh, okay. So you really think I sat at home and decided today I am not gonna go to the toilet because I simply don't want to. So it went from, okay, this hospital is saying not okay. It's all in my head and I need a therapist. This hospital is saying that my colon is narrow. This hospital is saying my colon is no longer narrow, I have IBS. It was like, okay, where do we go from here? Uninformed, scene 1, take 1, action.
Amazing, you're such a natural.
Thank you. You know, I didn't say a lot because the questions did not ask those things. Uninformed, scene 2, take 2, action. My name is Gemma Muthoni. I'm 16 and I had endo and have adeno. So my story starts when I was 12. I got my period and it wasn't normal. It was heavy, it was 8 days. There was pain before, during, and after. But my mom had heavy periods and my grandma had heavy periods. So there was somewhat an explanation for why I was how I was. So after, I think, a year and a half, because of how much I was bleeding, I got diagnosed with anemia. So I'd been living with anemia and my periods for quite some time. And my periods would affect the anemia a lot because every time I build blood, I'll eat all the right things, I'll drink everything right. But once my period comes, I'll lose all of it again. So it was a constant cycle, but we learned to live with it. So it got to a point where everyone knew, today you miss school because you started your period, or you're going to be in bed all day because it's bad. But it was only for a week and then back to normal. December 2023. That's when pain started and never left. Whether I was on my period, whether I wasn't, no matter what I ate, no matter what painkillers I took, the painkillers would reduce the amount of pain, but never took it away. So January came, we were expecting periods as usual, and then back to normal. My January period, I remember it very well because it lasted 10 days. 10 full days of intense bleeding and intense pain. So I told my mom, something is wrong. It's not normal. My periods have ended and I'm still in pain. Something is wrong. We went to a very well-known hospital in Kenya and saw a very big doctor with many certificates on the wall, many awards. We were expecting help. We walked in his office. At this point, I'm in a lot of pain and I've bled for long, so my anemia is high. So my mother was helping me walk in and out of the room. The first thing the doctor looked at me and said was, why are you not walking? Just get up and walk. It's not that bad. So I looked at him and I said, oh, okay. So I got up with mom's help and I almost fainted. And his exact response was, oh, okay, then sit down. It was like, okay. Then he said, He didn't check anything. He didn't ask more questions. He said, by the time you're 19, you should be fine. Also, my daughter has painful periods, but when she's 19, she'll be fine. That's what he said. And we left the hospital feeling very defeated, like we weren't heard, like I wasn't heard. So we went home, tried Ayurveda, didn't work. And then it's hard to explain at home because I'm sleeping all the time. I'm not able to do many things. We had to have a meeting as a family in the house to just be like, okay, what are you feeling? Why is it different now? How should you want us to help you? Because every time we ask, you're always in pain. There's never a time you say, there's no pain. So we tried, and then there wasn't any symptoms then apart from pain, intense pain. We tried Indian medicine, that didn't work. And then I think my mom saw exactly how bad it was, and we started the journey of hospitals and doctors and medicine. We were admitted once because they wanted to test things. So I had a stomach MRI, I did many painkillers, and then they gave me a drug to stop my vomiting. Because at this point, I'm in a lot of pain to the point where I'm puking. So they gave me a drug to stop my medicine, and it gave me muscle spasms. I looked like I was having a stroke. That took us to HDU. And the doctors brushed it off as, oh, some people also react to Panadol, so you should be fine. So spent the night in HDU. They said from the stomach MRI that it might be adeno, but when questioned for does adenomyosis cause all this pain, they said not usually, but she's an adolescent, she's a teen at the end of the day, so she might be exaggerating the pain. And they referred us to a pain specialist. Personally, to me, a pain specialist is a good way of saying a drug lord, because that's all they do. They prescribe drugs. So the first day I met the pain specialist doctor, he gave me morphine. Morphine is an interesting drug. It takes the pain away for 7 minutes max. And then you're back in pain, and then you're distraught. So you're in pain, your head hurts, it's not a good drug. But every time I saw the pain specialist, just for seeing him, I would get morphine. And that was not the only drug he gave. We were on a cocktail of oxycodone, amitriptyline, beta pain. There was a lot at a go. And none of that took the pain away. And at this point, I was having 2-hour pain attacks. What we describe as a pain attack for me was I would contract. So my stomach just does this and releases for 2 hours. And when the clock starts, there's no pill that can take the pain away. So, and then I'd get fevers, I'd almost pass out from the pain, I'd puke, all while I'm contracting for 2 hours. And this was when the painkillers were at an all-time high. And at this point, there was nothing treating the problem. All we were given was painkillers and told to survive. When we went back because I hadn't slept for 2 days. We tried another natural route because the pills were a lot. I was on 18 pills a day on a good day. So we tried another natural route, that I really protested against, but I had to take it. I didn't sleep for 2 days because of pain, because unless I sit up, I wasn't able to breathe. So after the second day, I was forced to try and sleep, and then I wouldn't puke completely. I would just gag and it would hurt. That day I puked completely and I was forced to sleep. I didn't sleep. I woke up and I looked at my mom straight in her face and told her, "There's a man on the roof." She looked at me and thought I had gone mad. To be fair though, there was a man on the roof. He was there. Just the way I said it was, I didn't say it like this. I said it in a completely different tone, completely engulfed with pain. So I haven't had energy in like 6 months because of pain. And that day I decided, you know what? Today I will go on a walk. I will go say hi to the man on the roof. So we went on a walk and it wasn't a good day. But I've never said in my life that my pain level has been at a 10, but that day it hit the ceiling. So what snapped me back into reality was the pain spiked really high in the car on the way to the hospital. The hospital we went to did not have anything stronger than a paracetamol. I was stressed, very stressed, because I have stronger medicine at home that actually would help a bit more than what's happening. So the doctor that saw us there was a really nice man that said I had acute pelvic pain and refused us to leave to the hospital in a normal car, and we went in an ambulance. We reached the hospital, did an emergency CT scan, and turns out I was completely constipated. My colon was completely full. We were given a gastroenterologist, and I was given an enema to clear the constipation and everything. And when my mom asked him why I was fully constipated, because you can't just get fully constipated in one day, it takes time to build up. He said, you know, adolescents, they can refuse to go to the toilet. And I was like, oh, okay. That's so you really think I sat at home and decided today I am not gonna go to the toilet because I simply don't want to? It doesn't work like that. And he was a fully peds doctor, and he said it's because she refused to go. And then said, from here on out, we're giving you all to the gynecologist department because my work is done. And he never checked again. He never asked questions. He left. Then from the previous allergic reaction I got to the medicine, they gave us a head scan, a head MRI, so that we find out if they messed with my head in any way. And we were introduced to a neurologist. Now this admission, the neurologist gave me Epilim, that is epileptic medicine, because she said it calmed me. So the first day, it did, but it was weird, completely weird. And she said that I should go for an EEG, but a 24-hour one. So my head was wrapped in bandages for 24 hours with machine wires coming out of it. It was very interesting. And I'm still in pain. And admission was like 8 days. Every time I was admitted, it was 8 days, nothing less of that. From that admission, we have gone here, we have gone there, we've been told many things. My mom's friend heard of a doctor that was really good. And at that point, we had seen so many doctors, so many nurses. And I was tired. So, and my mom knew I was tired. She was tired as well. And at this point, I'm not walking. I'm struggling to talk. I love to talk. I'm struggling to talk. I'm shaking. I am puking. I'm having hot, cold flashes. I can't be in a room with many people because I'll not breathe. My family at this point knew sign language because it gets to a point where you don't have enough energy to talk or energy to say something is wrong with me. So there were signs for there's no air in the room. There were signs for I'm about to pass out, get me out. There were signs. There were many signs. So I was on 24-hour watch. There was shifts in my house. Everyone gets a point to watch me because if you can be with me now, we'll laugh. But in the next 5 minutes, I can get an attack and be gone for the next 2 hours. So that was life at that point. After the admission that we did, emergency CT scan, MRI of my back and of my stomach. We did a EEG at the normal one, and then we did a 24-hour EEG. Then every time my mom would question a drug, because I started realizing I'm the only one who understands how I feel. So when I take something and it doesn't agree with me or it makes me feel odd, I say it. And I'll tell you, this, stop. I'm feeling like this today and it's not normal. We need to go to the hospital. So we started researching drugs. Everything I would take after the first attack, we'd research. I'd say is making me feel really off. And I'm really appreciative that my mom actually listened to me and took action for what I was saying. So during that admission, my mom was questioning why I'm on antidepressants, why I'm on opioids, left, right, and center, and why they combine. Every time she'd ask about a particular drug, they'd remove it from the roster. It would be removed and not replaced by anything. So every time she'd ask about a drug, it would be removed. We've come to the hospital with like 8 or 9 different drugs. She asked about them. We only left the hospital with one that had nothing to do with the ones that we had come with. And the one they sent us home with was Epilim for epileptic people. So we went home today. Tomorrow is our normal day. And we're taking the medicine. We had surprise guests that came with food that we hadn't seen in a long time. So we were enjoying our food, enjoying our meals. And then I looked like I got a seizure. And then we handled it at home. And that's how we stopped that medicine. Because I said, and one of the side effects for Epilim is abdominal pain. So it was adding on to the pain as well. So after that admission is when my mom went to see the doctor. So the doctor said there's nothing much she can do for me. So she referred us to Professor Chunge. Professor Chunge is an amazing man. I hadn't climbed stairs in like 7 months, give or take. And his office was upstairs. So I was practically carried upstairs. And he looked at me with so much concern and so much care that I haven't seen a doctor looking at me like that before. And he asked why I'm not working or why I'm in this much pain. And he said, adenomyosis doesn't have that much pain. I shouldn't be in that much pain. Then he ordered for tests himself. We did, all this time, I had never done a stool test. I've done 60 plus blood tests. I've done a lot of tests, but I had never done a stool test. So he asked for a stool test. We went, came back. Turns out I had chronic typhoid, chronic amoeba. I had many chronic infections. So I got treatment for those infections. And when he came back with the results, the first thing he said, he came back dancing. And he said, it's not cancer. what do you were looking for cancer? No, no, thank you. So he came back really happy and said it's not cancer, and he said it's chronic typhoid and all these infections. So as I was getting treatment for the infections, he looked and said, but why would the infections get chronic? That was a question we'd never had before. He said, a normal person gets an infection, you beat it in a couple of days or a couple of weeks, you're fine. But why has my body decided the infections will fester where they are? So he asked the question and he sent us for more tests. That was very intriguing because no doctor had ever found something and wanted to know what the cause of it was, in our experience at least. So he sent us for tests. We did a barium meal and a barium enema. Very interesting tests. The barium enema showed that I had a redundant colon and a spastic colon. And there's a point in my colon that was thinner than the rest. That was a problem that he explained as dead nerves. So when food is not able to pass, it gets absorbed back in the body and it becomes poisonous. So you get infections and it becomes longer than normal because there's no way for it to pass, so it just builds up. So he explained that to us. We took medicine and we went home. Still with him, still finding out ways to deal with it. Then we started a natural doctor who had seen some results for the people that we knew. So we got some herbs to take. That we changed my diet. Oh my God, my diet was horrible. I couldn't eat wheat, I couldn't eat meat, I couldn't have sugar, I couldn't have anything dipped in oil, I couldn't have anything acidic, I couldn't have anything processed. My diet changed completely. So did everyone in the house. Changed completely, but it did help. The medicine was horrible. It didn't taste good at all, but it helped. But it helped to a point that it didn't. It cleared my system. I wasn't getting infections as much anymore. But it got to a point where it stopped helping. And then the longer it stopped helping, I started getting worse. And then it got to a point where I'm saying, okay, I'm not okay again. But I'm being told, be positive, don't say that. And I'm like, okay, yeah, positivity, but how am I supposed to communicate that I'm genuinely not okay again? Or being told, don't speak death. I was like, yes, but how do I say I'm genuinely not okay? So Professor Chunge, said the skinny part is dead nerves and they need to be cut out for quality of life so that I can live my life again. So the original plan was to get a surgery to cut out the dead nerves, connect the colon, and then get back to normal. So we were scheduled for endoscopy and colonoscopy, the most traumatizing test I've ever done in my life. They were so bad. I can't even explain why they were bad because I was put to sleep. But the hospital and the doctors that did it weren't the best. So we went for a colonoscopy and endoscopy. And then the doctor said, your colon is completely fine and you have IBS. So it went from, okay, this hospital is saying I'm not okay. It's all in my head and I need a therapist. This hospital is saying that my colon is narrow. This hospital is saying my colon is no longer narrow, I have IBS. It was like, okay, where do we go from here? So from there is when we started the natural herbs. So we took the natural herbs and the diet change for a while. Took them for a while. Then once they stopped helping, it took us a while to see what's next, or to look for something else to do that would help. And in that time, I got a really, really bad attack that we hadn't had an attack in a while. And when it came. And it was a bit of a wake-up call. So we went back to Professor Chunge, and I had been saying, let's go back. No, before we went to Professor Chunge, we tried Indian medicine, medicine from India. Yeah, medicine from India. One of my grandmas was in India, and she tried medicine that really helped her. So she gave us the contact, waited. The first time it was to come, the delivery guy got hurt on the way. It was like, oh, okay. Then it came. So took the medicine from India for 5 days and completely broke out and had a full-on allergic reaction, lost 99% of functions. I was struggling to eat, I was puking, I couldn't talk, I couldn't move. My sister was helping me eat, and eating was a job. So from there, we went back to Professor Chunge, and he really, really stressed that we need the surgery, because without surgery, it could be fatal. And before that, I would really, really suffer. So he connected us to Dr. Jumba. I don't really remember Dr. Jumba's appointment because I was in a lot of pain. But he said we need to talk to Dr. Yamal because they work hand in hand together, and he would feel more comfortable going in for surgery if there was an okay in that department, because he said there's no need to do 2 surgeries when they could be 1. So we booked an appointment for Dr. Yamal's office, and the first time we went, I was in a lot of pain because this time every day was getting worse. The pain is getting worse. The other symptoms are getting worse. But they were so nice. We went to his clinic office, English clinic. We went to Dr. Yamal's clinic, and even the atmosphere was different. It didn't feel like the rush of a hospital. People, nurses would pass you and smile. Even the patients would smile and not give you weird looks for how you've walked in. Got in, and the nurses gave me a painkiller because I was in pain. No questions asked, no long process to go through. Then met Dr. Yamal. Dr. Yamal was very concerned because he knew pain shouldn't be that bad. And he's the first doctor that said periods should not be painful. We've seen many gynecologists out there, not even 2 years, even before anemia, we were seeing gynecologists. And he's the first one that said painful periods are not normal and they shouldn't be normalized. And he said we needed a scan. The scan was very, very intimidating. It was very intimidating, but it wasn't bad. And the people in the room were really nice. All the nurses were extremely helpful. All of them were sympathetic. Their first thought was not, she's lying. Their first thought was, how can we help? And you could tell. And the amount of, you can hold my hand, you can cry, it's okay, here's a tissue, it's okay to cry, we know it's painful, was something that we had never experienced. It was like, oh, okay, this is very nice. So we did the test, and he said we need a more detailed test for him to actually see what's going on and be able to help to his full extent. So he said I needed to wait a month until I was on my period, so everything was enlarged, enlightened for him to see. While doing the first scan with Dr. Yamal, he touched my stomach. No one is ever allowed to touch my stomach because I will physically fight you. Because touching my stomach is like encouraging the pain. It's like waking it up, and it's already awake, but you're teasing it. Why tease the pain? So he touched my stomach to do the exam, and I passed out because of pain. I completely passed out because of pain, and he had to come back and give IVs to bring back. And the nurses carried me to another room to get my medicine. There's a certain care they had that I haven't experienced anywhere else. So we did the second scan, the bigger scan. He saw adeno, said this shouldn't cause this much pain, especially when you're not in your periods. So he said he'll talk to Dr. Jumba and they'd find a solution. So the reports came out, did the whole process. He said they could be superficial endo, which is endo just on the surface, but you can't tell unless you're inside. It took about 2 weeks for the processes to finalize, and in those 2 weeks, we went to Professor Chunge's for, let's call it reviving, because I'm not eating well, I'm not sleeping well. So Professor Chunge really pushed for the surgery. He really pushed for better life. He really pushed for the solutions. He'd call the doctors himself to ask, what's going on, where are we? So after 2 weeks, we went to the hospital for surgery. And at this point, I'm in so much pain, I can't walk. For these other times, I'm completely bending and I'm strolling-ish with someone's help and limping. But the day we went to the hospital, I wasn't walking at all. I couldn't. The pain had gone to a place where I can't physically do it. So the day we got to the hospital, we got there in the morning, and I was really, really close to getting a pain attack. Just waiting for the final process. And the pain was really bad. The pain didn't go away until I was put to sleep. But everyone looked so worried. It was funny to me because I've never seen them so quiet. But they were worried. We prayed a lot. We did. So my pastors that have worked with us the whole journey, so my family, then slept for surgery. Went in, they did their thing, and was traumatized by a catheter. Surgery did not traumatize me. A catheter did. Yeah. But after I woke up the next day and I was shocked Because yes, I'm in pain here and there, but I'm not in the pain that I was in before. I'm not thinking, but there's pain at like consuming half of my thoughts. I was confused at why I'm not in pain. Like, why am I not in? Shushu, I'm okay now. And then there was no beds available, so everyone had to go home. I spent the first night alone. I woke up very confused because what do you mean I'm not in pain? Why am I not fighting my body actively? Because waking up was challenging because I'll sleep, wake up. The first second is fine, and then it's like being hit by a bus every day. So you're okay for the first open of eyes, and then the bus hits you, and you're like, oh, okay, here we go again. But the first morning wasn't like that at all. I kept waiting for the bus to hit me. The bus did not hit me that day. There was the pains for surgery, yes, but not like that. And the second day, the second day after surgery was the first time I walked or sat up straight in a long time, in a very long time. Yes, some pains were there. Yes, it spiked at a point, but not like before. Not like before at all. Now, it's been 3 weeks after the surgery. I'm walking straight. I'm able to hold a conversation. I'm able to sit down and appreciate people. I'm back. I'm coming back to who I am, who I was before all this. I have a walking stick. I have a walker that would transform to a wheelchair when it was really bad. And before that, my cousins would put me on a chair and carry me where I needed to go. Yes, but my family stood with me. My grandma has been to almost every doctor's appointment. My mom sleeps in the hospital every time I'm there. She doesn't leave to go home or anything. My sister took a break from school for a while to watch me here and there. She's never treated me like I'm sick. She's never been, oh no, don't do this, she's sick. My sister will tell me, if you faint, I'll slap you. But then help when I actually do. My grandpa comes and takes me for a walk every day. Even if I'm not able to, he'll come, say hi, talk about the day. My auntie would try spice up my meals because the diet was not dieting. But it helped my skin. It helped my skin. Thank you for that. My cousins send me videos of them singing and saying how much they love me if they haven't seen me in a minute. My aunties have cried, have hugged, have had fun in the hospital. We play with the beds. They've stood by me through the whole process, and I'm really grateful for it. It was really hard because they see me in pain, they see me cry, but I get to see every single one of them cry and every single one of them break down because of me. So I'm happy to be back and to bring joy back to them and to say thank you to every single one of them. I would say to doctors, if it's beyond your limit, you don't have to give someone something just because. You don't have to say it's therapy problems now. You don't have to say anything. You can refer them to someone else that you know can actually help them. Talking about period pain should not just be or I'm in pain as well, you can handle it, be strong. It shouldn't be like that. Society is extremely misinformed about endometriosis, adenomyosis, or any problem that has to do with periods. If someone says their period is really bad, if you can see their period is really bad, find help and find the right help, because wrong help can get you even worse than where you are right now. Life. To be very honest, I love life. I love to be happy. I was in 9 clubs in school. I like life. I like to have fun. I like people. I'm excited to participate in life again.
Endo is real. Endo is debilitating and life-altering. Endo is here to stay. You could be one of them, but you are not alone. Hey, Cheesedex, tell me something about endometriosis.
Yeah, painful periods, spotting, stomach pains, bloating, pelvic pain, no walking. She don't know the causes. Friends are stuck in gossip.